Okay, some of you are going to have a test or quiz, I believe, as early as tomorrow, but it definitely will happen soon, guys. And I just wanted to give you a quick review of using the law of sines and the law of cosines. Let's get started here. First thing I'm going to do is skip number 4, because believe it or not, that's one of the longer problems I found as I was setting up this video. Let's go ahead and, for example, look at number 8 here. Okay, we'll do number 4 last. Okay, so number 8, this is a typical law of sines. Now, you're probably saying, well, how do I know if it's law of sines? I would first of all always start with law of sines. All right, so notice we have an angle here. Opposite of it is the 28, right? And that's the setup we want with the law of sines. We always want a side opposite of the angle. We're asked to find C, and we know that 17 is opposite of that. So as you can see, we have 3 out of the 4 parts we need. So setting it up, I know that if I took 17, again, that's opposite of angle C. That goes with the sine of C. Always match up the side with its opposite angle, right? And that's going to equal the same ratio as 28 over the sine of its opposite angle, which is 98. And I'm going to cross multiply, right? And notice I'm going to end up with 28 sine of C right here equal to 17 times the sine of 98 degrees. And just to save a little time, guys, I'm going to try to solve it here. I'm going to solve for sine of C. I'm going to divide both sides by 28. Okay. So I now know that the sine of C, angle C, is this right here. Okay. And so that's what I'm going to calculate and put there in my calculator. So let's go to the calculator. If I do 17 times the sine of 98, I get this value. I'm going to divide that by 28. I get 0.60123. Now again, in your calculator, don't delete or change it right now. Okay? If you did everything I did, you have your 0.601234 in there. Leave it there for now, because sine of C equals that 0.601234, right? 0.601234. And to find angle C here, what I'm going to do is simply do the sine inverse on it, because sine inverse cancels out sine. They're inverse functions after all. So I know angle C is again going to be the sine inverse of that value, right? And so if you go back to my calculator here, notice I did the sine inverse of my answer, which is right there. And here is angle C. Angle C is 36.958. Now your teacher is going to probably have you at least keep one decimal place. But because of the 9, I'm going to go ahead and round it off to 37 degrees. So I know angle C is approximately 37 degrees. I don't know if your teacher has you do the little wiggly equals there. But angle C, I know, is approximately, the measure of angle C, 37 degrees. Okay? Pause the video if you need to. Now, take a look at this one right here. This one is a classic law of cosines. Now, how do you know, guys? Notice how I have an angle, right? And see how I have the 2 sides that make the angle. Whenever you have a side, angle side, as we like to call it, you're going to do the law of cosines, okay? Now, this one works perfectly because they're asking for BC. BC, if you want to call it X, you can. That's what I usually like to do. But I'll just call it BC if that's okay. Little x here is really BC. See, I know BC squared, according to the law of cosines, is going to be basically a squared plus b squared. In other words, I'm going to call this AB, and this will be my C. Okay? And I'm going to minus 2 times the A times the b times with the cosine of theta, which is the angle between them, which is 83.4 degrees. Again, follow the green. The way the law of cosine works, guys, is you do a squared plus b squared, just like Pythagorean theorem, but then you're going to minus right here 2 times the a times the b times the cosine of the angle between them. That's my theta. Theta is always the angle between the two sides, you know. So I'm going to do all of this in my calculator. And you should be allowed to do it. As long as you show your work here, guys. And then from there, your teacher should accept any intermediate work. But anyways, getting to the answer, I know that a squared plus b squared is 830.05. I'm now going to take that answer, and I'm going to minus 2 times a times the b times the cosine of theta, the angle between the a and b sides. I get this. Now remember, that is squared. That is the BC squared. So I know that BC squared equals 735.06. Now again, don't touch your calculator. Leave all that in there, right? So when you keep calculating with it, you're going to get a much more accurate answer, okay? So as you notice, I left it in there. And because that's BC squared, I know BC is simply the square root of that, right? I'm just going to take the square root. And so notice right here, I did the square root of our answer. That's 735. And here, guys, is the missing side, BC. 27.112. So BC is 27.112. Now, make sure you listen to your teacher. Your teacher may let you round off to 27.1. Make sure you give him or her the right number of decimal places, okay? But pause the video if you need to. Okay, so what you've seen so far in this video is the law of cosines. You've seen the law of sines. What makes 4 tough, guys, is that this one involves both of them. So check this out. First of all, let's say I want to do a law of sines. Now listen carefully. They want angle C. Notice I do have 16.6 opposite of it, right? But I don't have this angle and its opposite yet, right? So if I'm missing more than 1 out of 4 parts in the law of sines, you see, I can't solve with the law of sines. So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to find this missing side as your classmate labeled B here. Okay. Now I like to call it little x. If you want to call it AC as well, you can. But I'm going to call it little x this time, right? Oh, you know what? I'm going to call it AC. You ready? So this side, you agree, is AC. Right? Watch this. I know that AC squared has to equal the other 2 sides squared added together. See, that's basically your A squared plus your B squared again, minus 2 times your A side times your B side times the cosine of the angle between them. And do you agree 111.2 degrees is between the 2 AB sides, as I'm calling them, right? Again, I'm calling this one here A and this one B, and I'm basically referring this one as our C, okay? And if you're flexible with your lettering like that, guys, it definitely will help you with these, by the way. But anyways, continuing on, this is where I go to my calculator. I know AC squared is going to equal, and right here, notice I did my A squared plus my B squared. I minus 2 times the A times the B. And this right here, guys, even though you can't see it with the arrow there, is 111.2. This value is 1535.7. I'm just going to write down as that. 1535.7, guys, is your AC squared. Remember, it's still a square value. So therefore, AC will equal the square root of this. Notice I took the square root of that, and here is my missing side. Now, I'm going to keep at least 4 decimal places, guys, to be really accurate here, okay? So I'm going to keep 39.1885. So AC turns out to be 39. My video stopped there for a minute. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. So AC turned out to be 39.1885. Okay. Now again, I recommend whenever you can leave it in a calculator, but this time let me just want to make 39.1885. Let me rewrite that. 39.1885. Rounding off. I want to keep 4 digits here for accuracy sake, right? Or precision. So now what? So let's go back to our problem here, guys. Let me clean it up. Let's see what we have now. We now have what your classmate called little b, but this side is 39.1885, right? Now follow the block. Do you agree? I now have this side, which is opposite of this angle. I'm asked to find angle C right here, right? And that is opposite with 16.6. So I'm going to stick with black here and try to squeeze it in here if you don't mind. So I'm going to go to the bottom left corner right here, guys. So what I have using the law of sines is I have the 39.1885 over the sine of 111.2. That's going to equal, using the law of sines, 16.6, which is again opposite of the sine of C. Always match up the side with its opposite angle, right? The sine of its opposite angle. All right. And again, I'm going to go to my calculator here very soon. Do you agree 39.1885 times sine C equals 16.6 times sine of 111.2? Now, guys, because I don't have a lot of room, I'm going to do most of the work on the calculator, right? For your teacher, you're going to want to write a lot of this down on your paper to show your work, okay? But watch this. I know, where am I here? Here I am. What I did, guys, is I went ahead and I took 16.6 times the sine of 111.2. That again is right here. Everyone see the green? I did that. I cross multiplied, right? I know that equals sine C times this. So I went ahead and divided by that 39.1885. And this value here, guys, is the sine of our missing angle C. So you see, I now know that the sine of C is 0.3949. Now again, guys, leave that value in your calculator like I did so you can have a more precise answer. To find angle C, do you agree all I have to do is a sine inverse on this and on that? Sine inverse on both sides. So that's what I did right here. Sine inverse of our answer, which was 0.3949, which came out to be 23.26. I'm going to round that off to 23.3 since we're done with the problem. And what we just found out is angle C is 23.3 degrees. Now, this video is much longer than I usually make, guys. It's worth the time, though, to go through these 3 problems I did. If you know these 3 problems really well, guys, you should get an A on this quiz. Okay? But I'm going to do another video that should be a lot shorter than this one. So pay attention for that one as well, guys. Take care. I'll see you around.